you would think that the sky was falling, that if you looked all over social media, the Astros were in peril and maybe missed the playoffs because the Oakland Athletics, the 2013 AL West champions, came to take it to the Astros after sweeping the Mariners and taking out the Yankees. How could they lose to such a lowly team? Is it because of Dusty Baker's horrible construction of the lineup or because he rested two stars? I don't think it's any of this. We need to calm down and relax because this is the most exciting time of the year. The trade deadline is upon us. Could Josh Bell and Wilson Contreras be headed to Houston? We're going to talk about this, what we liked and didn't like about the A's series, and the Astros coming home to play the Mariners again so they can beat up on another AL West foe. Let's go.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter. Astros. You can find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can you find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter and Instagram at Astros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, always Stros.
All right. And I know, guys, it may look a little confusing. I'm not at Minmade Park. I know it looks like I'm at Minmade Park. Actually in my friend's house in Kansas City. We're no longer in Nebraska. I'm going to take a flight home at 10 o'clock in the morning. I've got to make a quick stop in Dallas, and then I'm going to have to come back to Houston tomorrow. So I'm excited to get back to H-Town. But you know who else is excited to get back to H-Town? The Houston Astros. And they're excited to get away from the A's because the A's have played them really well. And this is actually the first time the Astros have been swept all season, and that's something that I was not aware of. And this is the first time that the A's have swept a team all season. And guys, thank you for making the Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Keep on hitting that subscribe button and make sure you give us a like while you're at it. And on your way to work, on your way home from work, just go ahead and listen to us on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Check out the Locked On Astros podcast. And I'm not worried about this. Dusty Baker said he's not worried about this. He said it's a little bit discouraging, but he's not worried about it. We're talking about July 27th. I'm pretty sure nobody's freaking out about this at all.
No, and why would they? It's a 162 game season. It is a marathon, not a sprint. We've stated this. And I'm sorry, the takes that I'm seeing online, the worrisome, the bothersome, like Jay Roberts came in and said, he said, well, you know, the sky has fallen. The Astros got swept by the A's. And I know he's joking, but like literally people saying Corey Lee needs to get sent back to the minor leagues. I'm like, he's literally had 21 plate appearances, maybe 5 or 6 starts. And this kid has not had time to really do anything. Imagine being a catcher in AAA all season and you get used to the pitchers and then you get called up. And now you're not just throwing against, now you're not just catching one pitcher in Joe Rizzi. You're catching all of them. You're catching more than one. And Maldi's getting more rest time. And, you know, Corey Lee made a couple throwing errors today, and he's going to do that. He's a rookie. My first inkling wanted to go to, well, maybe he knows Contreras may be coming. But he's not thinking like that. Like I've talked to this kid, Eric. He's a grinder. He cares about his craft. He works hard behind the plate. He is just trying to go through the growing pains. I mean, if we can go all the way back to an Astros legend, when Nolan Ryan first got called up to the Mets, he had a 27.6 ERA, got sent back down. And even when he was with the Angels, he was pitching so bad, he thought his career was over. So pitfalls and things like that come and go. People, I think, need to be a little bit more patient and understanding and graceful with what's going on. We are in the golden era. And I think, Eric, the success sometimes makes us default to freaking out when the team doesn't sweep the teams they're supposed to.
And here's to Corey Lee getting a start that's not started by Jake Odorizzi. So, yeah, I'm not too worried about his future. I think that he's gonna be all right. He just needs some more time to mature in AAA, and he's gonna be fine. Whether that's next year or something, but the Astros do need to make a trade at the trade deadline to improve the catching position, and whether that's Wilson Contreras or whether that's just a backup catcher or something, that's something that only James Click really knows at the moment. But in today's game, there was Christian Javier, 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. He did allow 2 home runs. You can say that maybe this game was decided by 2 bad pitches. And honestly, I'm not. I'm not trying to sugarcoat this series or anything, but really, in every game, there was really 2 pitches that if you could have back, this will be a whole different series. And unfortunately, sometimes the series goes like that. The offense didn't quite do enough. I know Alvarez had his 29th home run of the season, and then the Astros scored some other runs, but overall, it just wasn't the Astros weekend or
No.
week. No, I'm thinking weekend because I was on a golf trip, but it wasn't the
Well,
Astros week. And go ahead.
so in the press notes for Christian Javier, and I tweeted this out 8 hours ago before the game started. Christian Javier ranks second in the American League among starting pitchers and opponents' batting average with a 182 clip. That's third, and his strikeouts per nine ratio is 12.42 in his 83.1 innings of work, which is about 30 innings less than Justin Verlander. He's allowed just 54 hits while tallying 115 strikeouts. Christian Javier has been very good most of the season. Christian Javier, with the fewer innings, has done an excellent job. 1 or 2 pitches can change a ball game. We all know that.
Right.
And the thing that I really want our fan base to start thinking about, or if you listen to our show, hopefully we talk about the ins and the outs enough that helps you understand that it's about the process and you have to trust the process. You're not going to win every game. You're not going to sweep every series. Remember last year, didn't we have issues with the Orioles? And in 2017, didn't we have issues with the Orioles again? We won. I mean, we got swept multiple times in
The
2017.
Tigers swept the
Oh yeah, it was
Astros.
the Tigers, the Orioles. I mean, and there was some. And
In
remember, we were.
2017, the A's took care of the Astros, and the Astros
That's
won the World
true.
Series. So
Yeah. So we have to kind of take everything with a grain of salt. Now, I'm not saying like someone said, well, you're telling me I have to be happy about it. No, I'm not saying you have to be happy about it, but I promise you, you as the fan are more upset than the actual player who's on the field. I talked to a guy
baseball.
today. Yeah. So Steve Springer, who I met last year at Constellation Field in the press box, he is one of the head scouts for the Oakland A's AAA team. And we were talking about hitting, and I was telling him, like, I eventually want to do a show about Yordan Alvarez and his swing and all this stuff. And he talks about mental coaching. He actually coached Ben Zobrist. After he started coaching him in the mental hitting side, he became an all-star. He also has coached Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado. Both of those guys improved their careers. And he said Yordan Alvarez is the kind of guy that probably keeps his heart rate between 60 and 80. He never gets upset. He never goes out of the moment, and he's always confident. If you have a cool confidence and you have fun, there's not a single other team or opponent that can beat you. And he said that's what he said. And that's what this team has. When you're freaking out, I promise you the professionals are like, okay, we're going home. That's done with. We got to put it behind us. Let's go ahead and play Seattle again, and let's take care of business.
Yeah, I mean, you want to beat the competition you're going to be competing against for the playoffs, and that's the Mariners and the Yankees and teams like that. So the A's, who cares? I mean, yes, you would love to have taken care of business, but you can't do anything about it. All you can do is just take the flight from Oakland to Houston, play the Mariners. You're going to play them for
That's
four
right.
games starting tomorrow, and just move on. Figure out what you're going to do at the trade deadline, and then don't worry about it. It's a new series. For some reason, the A's just were like, okay, you know what? The Mariners said that was their World Series. The A's were like, this is our World Series. So
Yeah, and Jay says aptly, I blame Tony Kemp. Yeah, Tony Kemp. Kemping ain't easy unless you're Tony Kemp. That was great to see that. And hey, Eric, I want to give you a compliment. For those of you watching the show, this guy goes on the road. He's in 2 different locations. He has a total killer background in both locations. Me, I would have some lame window unit behind me or some like random fence, or I'd be outside. Like this dude steps it up. He's got Minute Maid Park in one place. He's got a bunch of Jim Beam and Jack in the background of another. Dude, way to step up your game. Hey, if the Astros ain't got you, Eric the Man Huysman's got you. There you go.
And
Look at that.
there's some bobbleheads over here too. So my friend
Nice.
Scott is a big Astros fan too. He's from Houston, so you know what? If you're from Houston, from Kansas City, and you got some baseball cards, you want to go ahead and find out the price, or just buy some cards. Where's a good place to go look at, Brett?
Well, Sports Card Investor is a great place to go because it is the best way to sell and it's the best place to list your cards. I mean, it has one of these it, gosh, hold on. Let me I'm so amazed by this website. It's hard for me to describe it because as a lifelong card investor and as a lifelong card collector, it's been so difficult to go find a source that gives me everything I need. At Sports Card Investor app, it has over 630,000 cards, not just baseball, football, all sports, Marvel cards, whatever you want. And you can look them up. And I can literally, if I show you my phone right now, and if you're listening, obviously this isn't going to connect with the listener, but if I pull up Sports Card Investor app, I can literally type in someone's name. Julio Rodriguez is the number one trending card right now. In the last 7 days, his card is up. His cards are up 4.9% in value. In the last 30 days, 103.8% value. And look at that. The second person who's got one of the highest values is Juan Soto, his rookie. And what's cool is you can go to buy now, recent sales, or charts, and you can see the ups and the downs. Is a card hot? Is it low? If it's low, buy high. Or, if it buy low, sell high. They have all the things you need. It's a powerful resource. So go to the go to the Google Play Store, go to the Apple App Store, and get the Sports Card Investor today. It's a must-have for any baseball fan. It makes it fun, authentic, and relevant for anybody. Check it out.
All right. Brett and I are going to the Astros game on Saturday, and we need tickets. Brett, where can we get tickets at the last minute from?
I'm glad you asked that because Simple Seats is a place Houston sports fans go to buy tickets at the lowest possible price. Other ticketing sites will surprise you at the checkout by tacking on fees of 20% or more. SimpleSeats.com doesn't charge any fees at all, which saves fans money. At Simple Seats, we want fans to be able to go to more games without breaking the bank. I personally have used Simple Seats for over a year now. Every game I go to, when I buy third market, I don't go to any other ticket vendor but Simple Seats. It's locally owned and operated. They have great tickets for the Astros, Texans, Dynamo, A&M, UT, U of H, and more teams are on the way. With their zone seating specials, fans can save even more. With zone seats, they divide the venue into zones so you don't have to waste your time searching endlessly for the specific seat. You pick the zone, we pick the seat. You get the best possible price. And if you want to pick your exact seat, you can do that as well. So stop going to other places and stop going to sports events and spending the extra money you don't need to spend. If you want to hang out with Eric and I, meet us at the fifth inning at St. Arnold's, go to simpleseats.com. When you do, type in the code locked on 10. That's locked on 10 to save $10 off your first purchase of $50 or more. Simple Seats, better prices, no fees. It's that simple.
All right. Somebody asked earlier if we're going to Friday's game. Honestly, I'm going to be at airport tomorrow, and Friday I'm going to be chilling, relaxing. I've been on the go. I'm going to be, and I have a strong feeling that Brett and I are going to be also doing some pre-trade deadline podcast on Friday as well. So I look at maybe some positions of need, maybe catching like who's out there, like Tucker Barnhart, somebody brought up earlier, and maybe Wilson Contreras. We can maybe look out there. So I haven't talked to Brett about that. I just kind of threw that out at him right there. But
No, that's okay. No, we need to do it.
But something that kind of came up today is something that we've been talking about on the podcast for a while. Jeff Passan said that add the Astros to the growing list of clubs that will at least entertain offers for young, cost-controlled members of their starting rotation, citing multiple GMs who have had trade conversations with the Houston Astros front office. Per the reports, Jose Urquidy is one of the likeliest of the bunch to change hands. So does that mean that they're going to trade Urquidy for a bunch of prospects? No, they're looking for a bat. They're looking for upgrade at first base, at center field, catching, something like that. So does that mean that the Astros can say, hey, Nationals, we'll give you Urquidy for Bell? No, I think that what you'll be looking at is a playoff contender saying, "Oh, we need another pitcher. We have this extra bat. Do you want to switch?" Something
Well,
like that.
I think Urquidy's going to go on a higher leverage deal. Urquidy is too much for Josh Bell. Urquidy's value is over Josh Bell,
Yeah,
so you're
that's
not
not
going to
going to
do
go.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, Urquidy will go for a Wilson Contreras or an Ian Happ or
yeah.
someone like that. Um, and you're going to have to package a few people with that. Now, there are rumors, and people have said they've heard or they've seen. Now, I haven't heard or seen, but I've someone was saying today that they heard that the Astros offered, or the Cubs or the Reds wanted, like, Hunter Brown, Christian Javier, Luis Garcia. It's like this ridiculous get. And I'm like, that doesn't really sound very accurate. So I love what Jeff Passan said. Jeff Passan said, if you don't see it on this TL, on this Twitter thread, I didn't say it. So don't let someone say, well, Jeff Passan told me, or Jeff Passan said. He goes, it doesn't have a check by the name and it's not in my Twitter handle. Don't
But what if it has
don't
a
believe
7
it.
next to it and a circle?
Yeah. Or Jeff Passan, SSSAN, right?
Or
Trust
I don't
me,
want to say the
there.
word, but I'm sure there's a Jeff. You know the word I'm trying to say with the P
Well,
word.
here's the thing: there are a ton, and if you're not a veteran to Twitter, if you're new to Twitter, you need to be careful. I fall for
Yeah,
it almost every time because it looks legit. It's like,
ESPN falls for it too sometimes.
oh yeah. I mean, even the big guys. And so at the end of the day, trust James Click, trust the process. Sean Murphy is gonna. I don't think the Oakland A's are gonna do that. I don't know. Like, see, the Oakland A's are sellers, but they're probably getting rid of Montas. I think that was Montas' last start as an A. I think he goes somewhere else. The Dodgers, I think, are going to be in the mix for Juan Soto. I don't know I think the Yankees are really in the mix for Castillo with the Astros. And I know Astros fans that want to get Castillo just to keep him away from the Yankees.
Oh yeah, speaking of which, we did mention that on the show yesterday. We kind of teased it. I don't know if anybody who's watching the show, if y'all have any comments. I personally would not do it. That I think that goes back to, who is it? Was it Omar Vizquel or somebody? It was some utility player that Boston traded for just to keep him out of the Yankees' hands. This was like 15 years ago. I don't remember who the player
Yeah.
was,
Yeah. I
but
don't know.
would you trade for Luis Castillo, just no matter what the package
No,
is,
because
just to keep him
no,
away from Yankees?
No, because the package would be, that would be a really stupid move. That would be what a college coach or a high school no, no, this is professional sports. They said that they're not going to sacrifice their long-term future, but they are going to be aggressive in going after someone who can help them win now, not just now but later. What that intel turns me, Eric, is that if they sign Wilson Contreras, if they sign Josh Bell, which I think those are the two most likely targets offensively that they're going to go for. If they do that, they're going to try to keep them and sign them. I think Bell is the most likely to resign because you can get him on 3 years, about $15 million. I wouldn't mind paying him 45 for 3. He's worth it. He's a good community guy. He's a good clubhouse guy. Wilson Contreras, he's loyal. I would love to have him, but I don't know what his price tag is going to be. It might not be much more than 15 either. I think he was only getting 10 or 12 this last year from the Cubs. So it depends if the Astros can get these guys to agree to stay on. Also, what does that do to the possibility? I think we have enough room, but what does that do with Tucker down the road? So all these moves have to be calculated. Everybody's saying this, Eric, and I'm sure you've heard this. Would they just hurry up and make a trade? And James Click said, and we covered it, it's more complicated. Why? Because there's what, Eric?
New rules, and you have more teams in the playoffs
More
this year.
teams.
You have the
Yeah.
wild card, so you have they did this for a reason. They don't want teams to just go ahead and give up so early in the season and just say, okay, we're gonna sell. They want teams to try to go for the playoffs, and so that's why they added the extra teams, the extra wild card, and that type thing. So one thing also, that if they do trade Urquidy, and they don't trade Hunter Brown, that does open up a spot for Hunter Brown in a rotation until a certain Astro is ready to come back. And we need to talk about that in a second. But you know what? Once Lance McCullers comes back, the perfect spot to watch him play would be where?
Would just go to Hooters NASA. That's right. You need to make Hooters NASA your place for great wings, for brew, and fun to be had by all. I'm going to tell you right now, August 6th, we're going to have a live pregame show at Hooters NASA. You got to get out there. I believe first pitch is 5:10 at Central Standard Time. So before that game starts, we're going to go live in the restaurant. We're going to be doing giveaways. We've got Hooters gift cards. We've got T-shirts. We've got different Astros stuff to give away. So make sure you come and hang out with us. Enjoy the world famous wings, Hooters original style Daytona Beach, smoked, roasted, naked, or boneless, in one of 15 plus sauces or 5 dry rubs, along with ice cold beer at Hooters of NASA on the 29th, which is a couple days from now. It's National Wing Day. You buy 10 wings, you get 10 boneless free. And when you mention Locked On Astros, you get fried pickles when you do that. And as well, on 7:30, it's UFC night. So come enjoy happy hour, or should we say happy owl specials, Monday through Friday during the week from 3 to 6 p.m. Hooterades, legendary readers, and your favorite beers on tap. Come hang out where the Locked On boys like to hang out and watch the Astros with great grub and brews. Ask them for their featured beers on tap. It's at I-45, exit 528 for great wings and the best service from the world-famous Hooters girls. They're conveniently located near the NASA Value Shopping Center near the Baybrook Mall in Webster. Come see them for lunch, after work, for dinner, to celebrate an upcoming special occasion. That's 20796 Gulf Freeway, Hooters NASA. Tell them H-Town Wheelhouse and Eric Huysman sent you.
Thanks again for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. The MLB trade deadline is August 2nd, and Locked On MLB has all the breakdowns. Locked On Astros will have rapid reactions to any moves made. We'll even have some reactions. We're going to look at who could be available. So subscribe now to your favorite Locked On Astros team on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts, so you'll get notified when each episode premieres. So, yeah, I'm excited about who the Astros could get. But you know what? The biggest acquisition the Astros could get, it may be a little bit later after trade deadline, but it's Lance McCullers. Lance McCullers has missed the entire season so far, but he made another start today, and he threw, what was it? 3 innings of 2-run ball. He threw 52 pitches, and I believe that he was throwing in the 93 mile per hour range and maybe a little bit higher, but he looked pretty good. And so overall, let me pull up this chart. Actually, his sinker was maximum 94. His minimum was 91 for average of 92. And his cutter was about 90. Sorry, his four-seam fastball was about 93. It's about 93 overall. So his fastest pitch was 94. So he's looking pretty good. His changeup was at 87.5, average 86.4. So he's looking pretty good out there. Go ahead.
I wanted to ask you, I don't see Lance McCullers taking a full starting role this year. I see him doing a piggyback role. I don't see him being able to be stretched out by the playoffs, especially with how he's had injury after injury after injury. Everybody in here is talking about what is the rotation going to be. It's going to be Verlander 1, it's going to be Valdez 2, and then I think right now, with the way he's getting strikeouts, believe it or not, it's going to be Javier 3. Now, if you bring in a Luis Castillo, he automatically goes into your 3 slot, and then you put Urquidy or Luis Garcia. The question is, if you get McCullers up, Urquidy more than likely has been moved, and you have McCullers, I think, piggybacking with I would love Luis Garcia to go in there, and then I would love Lance McCullers to come in after that, or Lance McCullers to pitch 5 and then throw him off with Urquidy in his cha-cha slide, wind up. I just, at the end of the day, we're going to have a really good problem on our hands. We're going to have a healthy pitching staff, and there's going to be tough decisions to be made. Lance McCullers, Do you think he's come around to maybe if they tell him he has a piggyback role or he's more of a reliever, do you think he'll take that as a team guy? Because I know he sees himself as a starter.
Yeah, I definitely with his bulldog mentality, kind of like Mike Hampton back in the day, he definitely sees himself as a starter. Would he be accepting of a role of maybe opener where he pitches more than just one inning?
Right.
Yeah, but I think that's the discussion you have. You see how he does in the minor leagues. You have that discussion. You see how confident he is once he gets up here. You have him. Probably his first couple starts will be only 3 innings, and you'll see how deep he can go. You may be surprised how deep he can go into these games, but they're going to be very cautious with him. So yes, I can see him maybe going 4 innings. Then you bring in Urquidy, a Garcia, or somebody like that to piggyback with him. So yes, I could totally see that. But there is enough of the season for him to be stretched out to definitely 5 innings. Would he be a complete game pitcher at this point? Absolutely not.
No, and but that's the thing. That's what this team really strives in. And this is, I talked on a Spaces about this. Someone asked me, who do you think is more respected, or who had the better relationship with Crane? Is it Click or was it Lunau? And I think Click, with the way he's come in, Eric. And I know that's hard to say because we're not in there, right? And that's kind of an arbitrary question, but I'm going to get to a point here. Click has come in and had to manage this roster and do things and make moves without four first and second round picks 2 years in a row, four combined. He's had to work with losing a manager. He's had to work with new personnel. He's made some sneaky good trades. And Jim Crane handed him the reins and he's taken it. And to me, James Click is a guy that absolutely has command of that locker room. They trust him. Do you remember when Dallas Keuchel, I believe is 17, before they signed Verlander, all the talk was how much they were pissed off because the Astros hadn't made a move, because the Astros hadn't done anything, and there was this dissension among the ranks. You've not heard one player, one personal organization talk bad about James Click. I think James Click goes down as someone who's more of an ally with the ownership, more of an ally with Dusty, even though they may have had some disagreements on personnel
Yeah.
in the long run.
Yeah, I think Luno just kind of did his own thing. He was kind of he was handed the reins, and he just kind of did his own thing, and it kind of sounded like that in all the reports, the commissioner's
Well,
reports.
do you
So
remember his tweet? Remember his Death Star tweet? You remember
yeah,
that? I mean,
so
he was kind of like the silent assassin, figuratively speaking. He was that guy, and you and I have talked about that. He was feared in the league. The league he didn't really people didn't like him because he was so shrewd. But I think James Click had a plan and he said, this is what we're going to do. And
right,
Crane's like, I like it. And that's what you have to remember is Crane didn't get to where he is with being an idiot. Crane is a smart businessman. He's put the right people in the entire system from the top to the bottom. And that's why this club is successful. That's why the championship window is going to be open through 26 and 27. Bottom line, I said this on the Spaces. The Astros are the gold standard of baseball. Someone put that on record and replay it. The Astros are the gold standard in baseball. The Yankees, the Mets, the Dodgers don't compare to the success that we have in the league. Go look at our record. Go look at what we've done. Who else has been to 5 straight ALCS, about to make their sixth and about to make their fourth World Series in 6 years? No other team but the Houston Astros. There you go.
Alrighty, so yeah, we're gonna see what James Click can actually do under the pressure. Because last year, I feel like he did what he needed to do to upgrade the bullpen. That was a primary goal last year. But this year, it's not. It can be about the bullpen. It can be about the rotation, but it doesn't have to be. It can be about first base, but does it really need to be? Hold on. I, do you really need to upgrade center field? Do you really need to upgrade left field? That's what James Click is having to deal with. There's a lot of, do we really need to? And James Click is saying, Yes, we really need to. And
Yeah,
so that's why he's not sitting on his hands. He's being very reportedly aggressive. He's going out there. Yes, we want Josh Bell. Yes, we love Yuli. Yuli's one of the best teammates we can have. He's a leader on this team, and we're not getting rid of Yuli. But we need a impact bat to add to this thing so we don't get swept by the freaking ace. And so
right.
would Josh Bell have been difference for the series? No, but we don't. Michael Brantley hasn't even started swinging a bat yet. That
Yeah,
was reported today.
I think his lack of progression in his shoulder surgery has really changed the game for the Astros. And that's where when we say we're playing chess, not checkers, kids, is because every little thing along the way change, like it could change overnight. And when an athlete like Michael Brantley, a constant leader, like what he gives you game in and game out. By now, they thought he was going to be swinging a bat 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. He still can't do it. He's aging.
It's not
And
a setback. It's not a setback. Just not a step
yeah,
forward.
yeah, it's not a setback. That's right. Hey, it is what it is, right? But I would love to see a left-handed arm. I like that Mantiply guy. The more that I've talked about him, or the more that I've researched him. I know Larry wrote about him. I know some other websites have written about him. I know he was an all-star, so I started looking into him. This dude's a really good pitcher. He's a lefty, and so he's a guy. If we can't get Chafin from Detroit. Also Mole, AJ, Puck, even from the A's, is a hard throwing left hander. There are some pieces we can go get, Eric, and not have to sell the farm. There is a possibility that the Astros go big or go home, like in Larry's new article. I will give him credit because that's where I got the phrase from, because he said he wants Mantiply, he wants Contreras, and he wants Bell, and he showed a way to get all three of those. Y'all need to go read his article. It's actually really good. It's not a very long article. A lot of his stuff is very technical, but this one's actually a good one to check out. Check him out. Check out MLB. Check out Jeff Passan. He writes good stuff. Mick Taggart just had a recent article. And Chandler Rome does a good job being the beat writer for the Chronicle. So anything you can do to educate yourself on this, it's really, really important. And just know this, be watching. Make sure your notifications are turned on, because Eric and I may pop on here randomly if a trade happens, and I may be like, dude, I know you're in the airport about to board, but you're about to go to restream on your phone, and we're about to have an instant reaction. So we will have an instant live reaction as close as we can. And on trade day, we'll have that trade special. We'll be on there talking what the Astros did. And I will get to talk about Contreras and Bell being Houston Astros.
Hun, send me that via tweet, or send that via YouTube, that question, and I'll answer that on tomorrow's show. I'm not going to have time to do it tonight. But for tomorrow's show, it's going to be a showcase for Jose Urquidy. He is 9-4 with a 3.93 ERA with 77 strikeouts. He's going to be facing the AL West foes, the Mariners, and Logan Gilbert, who's 10-4 with a 2.77 ERA with 112 strikeouts on the season. So this is definitely going to be epic matchup. Jose Altuve has a home run, is batting .438. You have Alex Bregman batting .429. And you also have Kyle Tucker batting .364. So this is a young pitcher, and to have some of your big hitters hitting so well against him, Alvarez even has a home run against him. Against Urquidy, the guy you got to worry about is Mr. Ty France. He's batting .429 with 3 home runs, 7 RBIs. Kyle Lewis has 2 home runs and batting .333 and only 6 at bats. So that could be a little bit dangerous there. So those are some of the key matchups. And also Julio Rodriguez is batting .500 against him in 8 at bats.
So we have a work cut out for us. They're going to come play, and if you get a chance, if you haven't seen Julio Rodriguez play, come watch this kid play. He's phenomenal. I do want to make sure everybody knows this before we get off of air. I'm gonna put this up on the screen, Eric. It's gonna blank you and I out. Everybody hit the like button. But right now we have, once we get to 4,000 subscribers on YouTube, yes, it's hiding my face and Eric's. We're going to be giving away a Ryan Stanek autograph ball. Ryan, agreed to sign a baseball for us. I'll have him sign it on the sweet spot. I will get an authentic Major League Baseball. I will have him sign it. We're going to get that Saturday. He's going to do that for us. And all you have to do is go to our socials. Go to Instagram or go to Twitter. Tag 2 friends. Find the tweet. Retweet it. Make sure you're subscribed to YouTube. Once we hit 4,000, we will give that ball away. You could be one of the lucky winners of a Ryan Stanek authentically signed autograph. I'll even take a picture of him signing it himself so that you know that it's the real deal. So make sure you go to our Twitter and our Instagram and make sure you enter your name in so that you can have a chance to win that Ryan Stanek autograph baseball. Thank you, Ryan, for doing that. I appreciate that. I reached out to him. He said he'd be happy to do it.
Alrighty, so that's all we got for this Astros being swept by the A's Locked On Astros edition. Hopefully, we'll be reporting tomorrow, me back in the Houston area, and hopefully we'll be talking about Astros victory over the Mariners, because when it comes to the playoff picture, beating the Mariners is all we really care about. Who cares about the A's? I'm sorry, Jason Burke of the Locked On A's podcast. We don't care about the A's. We like Tony Kemp, but not when he plays against the Astros.
Did he say that the A's are our daddies?
Even if he did, I don't think he really cared.
Jason's playing. Hey, let me tell you, Jason's had a rough season, hasn't he?
I've known him
Jason's
for a while.
had. No, I know, Jake. And hey, for all intents and purposes, Jason does a phenomenal job. I mean, I've had the luxury, Eric, and you and I have had the luxury of having this show with the Astros being nothing but successful. I do not want to see a day where we're not talking about a team that's a contender, right? So that's a whole different ball of wax.
All right, don't scare me like that. Don't scare me like that. The Astros are going to be good forever. The Locked On Astros podcast. Make sure you subscribe to us, and we will be back tomorrow with another edition of the Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find us at Eric Talkster. Oh, yeah. And tomorrow we will have Robert Flores of MLB Network. And
at 7:30 before the post game.
Yeah. Are we going to stream it live? Or no?
Yeah, heck yeah. Why not?
Okay.
Or no. Right. Oh, you know what? I don't know. You know what? Yes, we're going to stream it live.
We're going to have Robert Flores at some time. We're going to record at 7:30. We may not have it on live, but we'll have Robert Flores on. He'll be answering all the trade deadline questions. Are the Astros good enough to beat the Yankees? Are the Astros good enough to go to the World Series? Robert Flores will answer all those questions. And my name is Eric Huysman. He is Brett H. Wheelhouse. We are the Locked On Astros podcast, and we will see you tomorrow. Go Astros!